Hey folks, step right up to the best video you'll ever see. I made this video for you. Yes, you, because you are my prized guest, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Bear with me here. There's a lot of context that I want to get through to tie all the pieces together. P.T. Barnum was born in 1810 and in 1871 created a special traveling museum of oddities and curiosities. He had an attraction where he sewed a monkey to a fishtail and called it a mermaid. It's called the Fiji Mermaid. That's fun. The museum became known as the Barnum and Bailey Circus and was known as the greatest show in the world. There are some steps I'm skipping over. I'm trying to keep this short. This finally came to an end in 2017 after 146 years. He's considered the father of modern marketing and advertising, where sales are less focused on what is the truth and more focused on the presentation and spectacle. But this video isn't about P.T. Barnum. It's about the Barnum Effect. What is this effect? What happens here? The more official term is called the Flaw Effect. In 1948, a psychologist by the name of Bertram R. Flaw gave a class a personality quiz and asked the class to rate the accuracy of the quiz of 1 to 5. The average score of the class was 4.26, meaning that the personality quiz was indeed incredibly accurate. However, the twist is that Flaw actually gave them all the same answer sheet. The Barnum Effect is when a person uses generalized statements that sound personal but actually can be applied to everyone. So, for example, here's a ChatGPT answer sheet. While you value close connections with others, you sometimes keep parts of yourself hidden from even those you trust most. You have a strong desire to be liked and appreciated, and you sometimes worry whether you're meeting others' expectations. Though outwardly calm, there have been times when you felt inner tension or anxiety that you rarely show. You tend to be a realist, but you're not afraid to dream. People see you as someone who is capable and reliable, yet they may not always realize how much you struggled internally to stay that way. You often feel that you're not living up to your full potential, even though others see you as successful. There's a side of you that craves adventure and change, but you also appreciate routines and familiarity. You can be very sociable in the right setting, but you value your alone time deeply and may sometimes retreat to recharge. While you are generally honest, you know how to be diplomatic when necessary. You're good at reading people, even if you don't always say it out loud. Thank you, ChatGPT. So accurate. Comment below if it gets your personality right. Now, in my personal, unprofessional analysis, I would pitch the Barnum Effect as a flaw of communication. There are 4 different brain hacks happening at the same time here. 1. At a foundation, the brain likes to make order out of chaos. It will try to create a comfort zone of probabilities and then follow that set of ideas. It's a pattern-seeking machine in a world of randomness. We will subconsciously attach ourselves to ideas that either make sense or make us feel comfortable. This is how optical illusions work, actually. Your brain can't make sense of it, and it tries to make sense of it the best way it can. 2. The brain autopilots to itself thinking that the information it receives and outputs is 100% correct. And if you think that the information you receive isn't accurate, then you are 100% correct. The information you receive isn't accurate. Does that make sense? 3. The brain only filters information as a positive. For example, there's a difference between "don't forget" and "please remember." The brain translates this information as plus do, plus not, plus forget, and then plus please, plus remember. Forget and remember are opposites, and while the differences in interpretation aren't big, it can shift the likelihood of how you do your tasks. This happens with everything. 4. When we speak to each other in conversation, we are only assuming at the start that we know what the other is talking about. But this can get surprisingly deep. For example, when I tell you about a giraffe skateboarding in the park, you will also think about a giraffe skateboarding in the park. But the way we conjure that giraffe will be a little different. I'll see it one way, you'll see it another. There is a gap of communication between us as we try to talk to each other, where we are making constant assumptions that we know what the other person means and says. This gap can never 100% be fully accurate, since I have my own brain and you have your own brain. Welcome to the question of consciousness here. But by mentioning a skateboarding giraffe, I'm redirecting your conscious focus towards an idea I want you to pay attention to. This is where the fun begins. Thanks to points 2 and 3, the first step your brain will do is that for a brief moment, it will filter the skateboarding giraffe as true. It's in the second step where your brain will mentally compare that to a giraffe in the wild that it has in its memory banks to verify which is actually accurate or not. So I can say whatever I want right now. Moon elephants in the sky, double rainbow cereal pops, jungle jingles jingling jammas with John. What does that last one mean? I don't know. It is up to you to filter it out whether it's accurate or not and what it means. P.T. Barnum simply discovered that you can say anything and people would either believe it or at minimum check it out to see if it's actually true or not. He was only trying to get people through the door. And bonus if it's flashy, because if people are entertained by it, they'll forgive you for lying. That's called the suspension of disbelief in story writing. This system is easy to follow when the example used is physical and tangible, but when we use abstractions or any kind of mental definition, it is really easy to break. When I say you are a beautiful person, you first autopilot to its truthfulness, and then you're going to bring up an image of beauty to verify it's the source of the second. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, as they say. This entire process is why I call the Barnum Effect the universal flaw of personality systems. When I say you are an introverted person because you don't like social gatherings, introverted is the first thought that comes into your mind. You're going to try to find examples or giraffes in your brain to compare it to, and then you're going to automatically find it to be truthful. No one is 100% introverted or extroverted, but simply asking the question will slant that perception towards that direction. Will you find examples of extroversion to counteract this? This is probably why personality tests ask 100 different questions in the same general way. You will interpret each question slightly differently, and then it's through cross-examining that process where the tester can narrow down if you are actually introverted or simply think that you are. But tests are never 100%. Are you an ENFJ in the MBTI with an Enneagram 9-wing 1 with high conscientiousness and neuroticism in the Big 5? Are you a Virgo moon rising? Well, of course you are, because this test said you were, right? Or maybe you're an ambivert. You're just that unique. Everyone feels everything and does everything at some point. This entire process is where all personality systems fall apart. People will either take the tests and answer incorrectly because of how the questions are phrased, or people subconsciously change their behaviors to match the stereotypical ideas around the test's conclusions. And to be frank, most people don't have enough introspection to correct their own biases and misinformation about themselves. Luckily, or the universal personality color theory, has a couple of ways of getting around some of the Barnum Effect. But that will be a video for another time. Thank you for watching.